What's happening, y'all? It's your man D Real, and time for another weekend live. I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to get yourselves acclimated and situated before I start leaning in with the subject matter that I have for today. I probably, you know what? I always say I probably won't be before you very long, and then I end up being before you very long. So I'm not gonna say that. I might be before you long. I might not. Just hang on for the ride, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about female Olympic sprinters and the dilemmas contained there in their situations. Of course, it wouldn't be edutainment and blurred like if I didn't have blurred subject matter. And so, to that effect, we will be discussing the first four episodes. Well, not really discussing them, but kind of encapsulating the first four episodes of Loki on Disney and the ramifications that it has for upcoming series, movies, etc., so on, what have you. Also, presenting the question, how do you feel about color swap? And what I mean by color swap is taking a character, well, specifically in this topic of conversation, taking a character who is traditionally Caucasian and making them a person of color. There are two movies coming out, and at least one of them potentially, well, one we know for a fact, they have color swapped the character, and another one, the color could potentially be swapped. And of course, it wouldn't be controversial today if we didn't talk about one William H. Cosby and his freedom from incarceration. This man has not even been out of jail a week, and he already has his own dance. But we're gonna get to that in a minute. We're gonna get to all of that today on Be Real with D Real. And I'm like I said, I'm gonna give y'all a couple minutes to get in here because it's going to be memorable. Okay, I believe it's 5 after, 7 after, 6 after, something after. Doggone it. 3 after. Okay. All right. I give you 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes will be 5 after. And we will begin. You know what? I'm going to refresh my beverage. And he slides back into place. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. First, let me start off by saying good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you is in this neck of the woods, this part of the world, and particularly in the United States of America. Happy independence from British rule to Caucasian people. I mean, I that's blunt and honest. Yeah, I'm gonna take the day off. Yeah, I'm going to eat food that day. But facts, the day was not designed with me in mind, unless I was going to get more stuff for you to eat, or my ancestors, more accurately. But I'm like, it ain't even. It ain't even about that. That's a whole nother topic, conversation, whole nother ball of wax, and a whole different set of people to piss off. Anywho, I want to talk about things that have been going on this week. And as you can tell by my choice of t-shirt, I have decided to open this little topic of discussion with, yes, Olympic sprinters. A particular Olympic sprinter, in particular, one Sha'Carri Richardson. Earlier this week, it was announced that Sha'Carri Richardson was suspended because she had marijuana in her system. Marijuana in her system. The International Olympic Committee seems to be under the impression that marijuana is a performance enhancing drug. I had to look at the wall. The wall's over there. There's no camera. There's no cue. There's nobody over there. I just had to look over there because it's like marijuana, performance enhancement. The two things could not be further apart. Michael Phelps. Okay. And I know what you detail oriented people are thinking right now. Okay. Michael Phelps got caught partaking in cannabis after he won his medals. I hope that's not the argument you're presenting, because if we're supposed to be talking about Olympic athletes and the standards that Olympic athletes are supposed to be held to, Olympic athletes are supposed to be held to that standard regardless of whether or not they have a medal or not. It just seems that there's more attention called to them when they have medals or when they're popular, as is the case with Sha'Carri Richardson. And Sha'Carri Richardson was going through some things. Okay. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. Okay. As I always am, I have to look at both sides of the equation. Both sides of the equation, because that is my nature. I am a Libra. Okay. I have to look at both sides of the equation and balance it out. And this is how I'm gonna do that. Okay. We look at the good, we look at the bad, and we look at the I am reminded of a saying that was presented to me as a social working professional. A person once said to me, "One oh shit can wipe out 1,000 attaboys." Okay, that's a fact. I can remember being real good as a kid, but then I turned around and steal a quarter out of my mama's purse and I got the brakes beat off of me regardless. Okay. And if we want to go a scientific slant, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. What I'm getting at is this. As an Olympic athlete, we are aware of I can't say, I ain't never been an Olympic athlete, but I would think as an Olympic athlete, you are made aware of the expectations that will be demanded of you. Shoot, I played football and ran track in high school, and there were expectations put upon me. The expectation as a student athlete was that my grades were supposed to be held to a higher standard than normal students are. My behavior, which wasn't always the case, was expected to be held to a higher standard than other students. Okay. Sha'Carri Richardson is what, a sophomore now at LSU. She's a sophomore. As a college athlete, you are expected to be held to higher standards. Now, at the same time, I am not saying she deserves to be disqualified, suspended, blah, 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 whatever have you. But I ain't the International Olympic Committee, so it's not my say. So when you make comments or you express yourself about how you feel about this, understand I'm just presenting to you, the viewer, the watcher, whatever, some facts. And that's a cold, hard fact. Okay, the Olympic Committee expects its athletes to be held to a certain standard, not derail, not you, and not all the other millions of people with opinions. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I get where you're coming from, but this right here where we at. Okay, at the end of the day, in my opinion, I feel like suspension for marijuana seems a little outdated. Yeah, outdated. A little bit outdated because marijuana is currently legal in 19 states and a couple other countries, and I know Amsterdam for sure. So, but yet and still, there are still people sitting in jail cells incarcerated over marijuana-related charges. So now for me, the question becomes, what do we want to call right and what do we want to call wrong? What do we want to point fingers at and say that's wrong? And what do we want to point fingers at and say, well, that used to be kind of wrong, but it's a little antiquated now. So we probably need to revisit the rules and regulations governing that specific policy. Cannabis, come on now. I don't know nobody on the face of this earth who's done anything heinous under the influence of cannabis. I mean, I'm not saying they haven't. I'm just saying I have not seen or heard or read about somebody who went out and smoked a blunt and then ran out in the park and chewed somebody's face off. Never heard that under the influence of cannabis. I never heard of anybody smoking a joint and then going out and getting an automatic weapon and killing 50 people. I don't know. That may have happened. It may not have happened. Maybe it was one of the people that shot themselves. I don't know. But I'm just saying, as far as I know, nobody has done anything heinous under the influence of marijuana. And an International Olympic Committee, for your edification, last time I checked, marijuana does not make anybody stronger or faster in terms of being competitive. Maybe she was high when she ran the Olympic trials. I don't know. But I really don't think it was the cannabis that made her run the way she did. According to most news and media outlets, Sha'Carri's suspension is supposed to last for about 30 days, retroactively from the 28th of June. So that means by the 28th of July, she should be eligible, or we will be looking at her being eligible for the rest of the Olympic events. At that point, I believe they will already be into the group events as far as track and field and not the individual events. So she has a chance of still being able to participate on the 4 by 100 meter relay. No, the 400 meter relay. There, 4 of them, four girls in the 400 meter relay where they hand off the baton. Each girl runs 100 meter leg. There. I should be able to put that better being a former track person. See, that didn't even come out right. Let me stop. Okay, I've been away from track and field for a long time. Let me shut up trying to sound like an expert. Anyways, So potentially we could still see a showdown between Sha'Carri Richardson and Jamaica's Shelly Ann Fraser Scott, the Pocket Rocket. You don't get a name like Pocket Rocket being slow. Okay. I would have loved to see these two sprinters square off in the same heat in the 100-meter event. Hey, Overstand Mocha, what's going on? Glad to have you aboard. Pleasure and a privilege. But yeah, I don't necessarily believe the child did anything wrong. Let's just get the brass tacks, okay? Her mama passed, and she had to find out that her mama passed from a reporter, not from a family member, not from a friend, not from her coach, not from somebody she felt comfortable hearing that from, but a reporter. Okay? I ain't saying it's okay, but I understand. If a perfect stranger came up to me and told me my mama was dead, I'd probably smoke a little something too. Let's just keep it a buck, you know? Diesel in the building. What's good, homie? What's good? What's good? We up in here. We talking about Sha'Carri Richardson, bruh, and the suspension. Child's. I was just saying, the child's mama died, and she had to find out from a reporter. If I found out my mama died from a reporter, like I was saying, I would probably blaze one too. I'd probably blaze a couple. You know, just it's your mom. I get it. Olympic athletes are supposed to be held to a higher standard, so on and so forth. I get all of that. But when's that line? Where's that line blur? Where's that line do we start to say, okay, come on, International Olympic Committee, y'all doing too much now? Yes, no, maybe, you know, but like I said, I still think Shelly Ann would have dusted her. Yeah, I'm saying it out loud, live. Shelly Ann would have dusted her. Because if you've ever seen Shelly Ann race, and you've ever seen Sha'Carri race, and I know you've seen Sha'Carri race, you've seen her, that's all they've been putting, you know, in social media. Sha'Carri comes from behind and runs folks down. Shelly Ann busts out of the blocks crushing you. Okay? Would Sha'Carri have been able to run somebody like Shelly Ann down? I don't think so. I think that would have been her comeuppance. I mean, it's like she's ready, but I don't think Shelly Ann is ready to relinquish that title. I mean, because right now she the big dog when it comes to sprints. She the one folks gonna have to come see. Period. At the end of the day, y'all all gonna have to come see Shelly Ann. All them American female sprinters, that the other ones that y'all gonna have to come see her. And I hope y'all are ready. Now, Steezel, I don't agree with the man either, man, because I mean, come on. If anybody got a case to argue, y'all need to go ahead and let me slide on the Bud charges. It's Sha'Carri Richardson. And I feel like, and I don't want to get off into race, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, just Sha'Carri's whole vibe and her look and her feel, it's almost like, okay, y'all looking for a reason. And her smoking marijuana was that reason. And it just seems thin. It just seems paper thin. And it's like, okay, in the Olympic Committee has the power. You see what I'm saying? They have the power to say yay or nay, one way or another. Why can't y'all set a precedent and say, for the first time ever in the history of, we're going to let it slide because we know everybody really wants to see this child race. And we're going to give the people what they want. Got to give the people what they want. My OGs know what's going on with that one. Kudos if you can put the name of the artist up who sings that song without Googling it. I know you can. It's all right. I'll tell y'all later. I'm drinking watermelon juice. I hope you don't think that's stereotypical. I'm going to get off the sprints. Nobody wants to talk about the sprints. We said what we did. I mean, there's not really a whole lot for me to continue saying. And it's like, Diesel, my man. Okay. OJ's. Okay. All right, Steezel. You didn't Google that, Steezel. Man, you came back with that answer mad quick, cuz. Anyway, how many of y'all out there are watching the Loki series on Disney Plus? Me. I'm watching it. I haven't really had a chance to speak on it on my page, because I've been going hard with the recast T'Challa thing and other stuff. Overstand. Are you serious? You've never heard of Shelley Ann Fraser Price? Okay. She's only been smoking people in sprinting and Olympic trials and all of that since like the early 2010s. She left sprinting in like, I think it was like 2017, 2018 to have a baby. She came back after having a baby at, I think like 33, 34, and crushed the trials, destroyed everyone there. So clearly her having a baby did not make her lose a step. And she destroyed everybody in the Jamaican trials, and she's coming and she's going to be in the Olympics. So you'll be able to see Shelley Ann Fraser. Okay, well, you might know her. I mean, I ain't going to sit here. I can say something, but I'm not going to say something about looking alike. I'm not going to do it. It was wide open. But anyway, on to Loki. Okay, a lot of what's going on the Loki series is it's multiversal in nature. Lot of time traveling things, a lot of time traveling tropes. We've pulled the wool from over your eyes with regard to the TVA. Time Variance Authority. TVA no, Allison Felix did not change her name, Mocha. Anyways, Loki, as we know from the events of Avengers Endgame, during the time heist, Loki is kind of he's kind of in between time, I guess. Time Variance Authority. He's met himself and fallen in love with himself, more or less. Before he ends up getting, I guess, the process that we thought with those rods where they were de-resing people, that was just like a eliminated, done and gone. But we find out from the end credit scene, episode 4, that Loki is in fact not de-resed and dead, but he's somewhere. And there's a League of Lokis, a Legion of Lokis. I'm with you. I'm with you, D. Loki has kind of been hit and miss for me too, because I've been looking for this. There's a moment I've been looking for in the Loki series. I'm all dusty and bummy and stuff. I'm just like, okay, it's the weekend, man, and it's a holiday too. I ain't dressing up for y'all. I didn't mean that the way it came out. Really, I didn't. It's been hit and miss for me because I've been waiting for this ooh-wee moment in all of Loki, and there've been those ha ha kind of moment, but I ain't got no ooh-wee moment out of Loki. Even when they derez Loki, and I was just like, I'm using derez, but that's the word I'm using. Disintegrate with the stick. Even when they did that, I was still like, because we know how many times folks done died in the MCU, and just been gone for how many times has Loki died in the MCU and only to pop up later somewhere else? For me, the payoff is going to have to be large. We got 2 more episodes to go with Loki, and the payoff is going to have to be huge. You're going to have to introduce another character. Appreciate you, Mocha. Appreciate you. There's got to be, it's got to be something else. And I don't want to spoil it for people who aren't in the know, but time travel isn't a, what's the word I'm looking for? Time travel isn't a new thing in the Marvel universe. It's a new thing in the MCU, and lots of people time travel. People who potentially could appear or potentially will be appearing in the Marvel universe, and I don't want to give away names. One of them begins with a D, another one begins with a K. I'm not going to give that away, but they are the 2 most popular characters in all of Marvel about as far as time traveling goes. There might be 1 or 2 others, but when I say time travel, what character pops in your head? What Marvel character pops in your head? They were the first 2 characters to travel in time in the Marvel universe, and both of them will eventually be introduced. As far as Loki goes, for me, Loki has always been kind of the villain that they just simply refuse to kill off in Marvel, because Marvel is good for murdering off all of their villains. But you're right, Steve. The appearance of Sif in episode 4 was kind of but it wasn't, again, like I said, it wasn't like a ooh-wee moment. Now, if you had gave me a flashback with Surtur, you had gave me a flashback with Luffy, or even Malekith. If you had gave me a flashback with one of them, somebody who, well, that I'm pretty certain of. He will definitely be set up. We might not see him, but we might see some shadow and some. I mean, because we already got Ravonna, so how far behind could he be if we already dealing with Ravonna? As far as Loki goes, the numbers seem to be good because a lot of the Thor Loki folks are tuning in religiously, and they're watching it. Never been a huge Thor Asgard fan. I at least the cinematic Thor. I dug Thor in the comics. I dig Thor in the comics. They kind of lost me when they did what they did with Stormbreaker. That's when I kind of, I started like, wait a minute, what? Because, I was kind of, hoping and believing that there would be a Beta Ray Bill in the MCU, but apparently, it may not come to pass. I'd like to see it happen, but I don't think they're gonna give us no Beta Ray Bill in the MCU. If they do, I will be pleasantly surprised. Color swapping. Let's talk about color swapping for a second. Funny you should mention Heimdall. Heimdall is one of the characters in the MCU that was color swapped. Matter of fact, a couple of characters in Asgardian MCU lore have been color swapped. As I said previously, Heimdall's one, Valkyrie is another, and Hogan the Grim is a third ethnicity swapped character. I don't want to say color. Color sounds too rednecky. So I'm going to say ethnicity. That sounds a little more educated. Yeah. So some color swaps, some ethnicity swaps work. I think ethnicity swaps do okay when you're dealing with like third and fourth tier characters like Hogan the Grim and Heimdall and folks like that who are supporting characters, secondary characters. We can give them an ethnicity swap, and not a whole lot will be said about it because it goes under the guise of diversity. Now, what's going on now over at Warner Brothers with the Black Adam movie? Black Adam is set to introduce members of the Justice Society. One member of the Justice Society that will be introduced in the Black Adam film is Hawkman. Traditionally, Hawkman has been a Caucasian-looking character. When he was first introduced in the 1940s, white man by the name of Carter Hall. When he was reintroduced in the 60s, he was reintroduced as Katar Hall, a Thanagarian warrior from the planet Thanagar with wings, but Caucasian-looking in appearance. The Hawkman we are set to see in Black Adam will be played by none other than Aldous Hodge, an African-American man. Aldous Hodge, you may remember from the television show Leverage, and for his turn as MC Ren in Straight Outta Compton. Okay, now here's the question that I'm asking. Is it better to make a character a different ethnicity or simply introduce a new character of that color? Why couldn't we have, Thanagarian Hawk Jackson? You know what I'm saying? I'm spitballing here, but that's what I'm saying. If we're going by the diverse train of thought, okay, there are different ethnicities on the planet Earth. Why can't there be different ethnicities on other planets? Ain't no black Thanagarians, no black looking Thanagarians, or it doesn't even have to be black. Make them purple, make them orange, make them gray. I don't care. It's just, if I'm going to change the color of a character, I have to understand the ramifications that's going to have on the fans of that character. Okay, I'll throw you another one. Not African. Black actress. I don't know. She's English. She's from the UK, but she is of African descent, African and something. Her name is Zawe Ashton. She has been cast in the Marvels, the sequel to Captain Marvel, and what's circulating in the rumor mill now is that she will be playing the role of Rogue. What? We making Rogue a sister? Okay. All right. Okay. When I hear that classic theme in my head, Steezel, the actress name is Zawe Ashton. She is of African and I believe Caucasian descent. Um, yeah, well, that's the rumor. Don't circulate that. That's in the rumor mills and the rumor. So I'm not giving life to that rumor. I'm just saying that's the rumor that's out there. And I have looked at IMDb, and she is indeed in the cast of actors to be featured in the Marvels. There's only 4 of them so far, but they've told you who everyone else is. You know what I'm saying? We know who Brie Larson is playing. Brie Larson is playing Carol Danvers. We know who her name escapes me right now, but the young Middle Eastern lady who got cast as Kamala Khan. She's there, and then of course Tiana, who's going to be portraying Monica Rambeau in the movie. We've got Zawe Ashton in the credits, but they don't tell us who she's playing. And the plot for Captain Marvel 2, The Marvels, has dropped, and it said that Rogue will indeed be part of the plot. That should be interesting. It looks to be interesting. But I mean, I'm just of a mind, if you're going to have a character in a movie, and it's a character that we all know and love, i.e. Hawkman, i.e. Rogue, give us the character that we see in comics. I mean, purists get crapped on all the time when it comes to movies. I mean, I wasn't upset, but I was disappointed in the original Avengers, the first Avengers movies, when they replaced Ant-Man and the Wasp with Hawkeye and Black Widow. As a purist, I want to see my original Avengers, but I didn't get my original Avengers. I could have let Captain America slide, but yeah, y'all was doing the most. I guess Hawkeye and Black Widow are more exciting to look at on screen than Ant-Man / Giant Man and the Wasp. We know that's not true. And that happens a lot. If Rogue does show up in that movie, she'll steal some of Carol's powers. Yes. Thankfully so, because she seems to be pretty OP right now in the MCU, and that has, all the feminists and everybody who says girl power flying high, that she's basically the strongest raw power character in the MCU right now. Yeah, she could use a Rogue nerf. But yeah, I don't know, if you're gonna make a character. If you're going to make a character, I don't know, just into something that they aren't, or are you going to change a roster, or are you going to just go all the way left field and make it something that no one has ever seen before? Do that. But don't take a character like Katar Hall, and make him a person of color to assuage people. Because what's the reasoning behind making Hawkman black? What's the reasoning behind potentially making Rogue black? What does that do for the character? What I found, what happens with movies, comic books turn around and reflect what goes on in movies to sell more comics, to appeal to a larger demographic. So when comic book artists follow the path of movie writers, they're getting away from canon. We're just gonna make, the Flash television show. We made Iris and Wally West black because somebody on a TV show thought, it'd be a cool idea to make Iris and Wally black people. How about you just give me another black speedster? Just give me a black speedster. We don't have to make Wally black. Just give me a black speedster. Why is that weird? You introducing a new character. There's nothing wrong with introducing a new character. Nothing whatsoever at all. I mean, yeah, she's way too OP. She's way too OP. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to take characters that people know and love and give them this whole new life and look and origin and all of that, because then, again, us purists, we're gonna be pissed, and then we get online and we do things like make petitions to recast characters that folks want to murder off. Yes, Kevin Feige, I'm talking about the Recast T'Challa movement. We're still out here, and yes, we're still going to be on your bumper. You don't have no problem, recasting all these other characters and having all of these other characters in the movies, but for some reason we got to kill off the number one character of color. I don't get that part. We coming towards the end of today's Yippee-Ki-Yay. I didn't finish that because it's got to at least be PG. Bill Cosby. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to talk about it? Or are we still in our feelings about it? And you have a right to be. I'm not saying you don't have a right to be. You have a right to be in your feelings. But there are some people that aren't taking it the same way as others. Okay. For those of you that have been under a rock, earlier this week, Bill Cosby was released from jail on what looks to be a technicality, a loophole, and he walked. I mean, was released immediately. They didn't waste no time getting the man up out the jail. Now, it ain't even been a week, and this man got a dance already? Young people, y'all don't waste no time, do you? My man already got a dance. I don't know if y'all saw, but when Bill Cosby was, walking out of the courthouse with his lawyer, he busted a move, and that's a dance now. That quick. That's a dance. Now, off of the trivial and into more deeper matters. Okay. Question. If I confess, yeah, you need to check it out, D. It's hilarious. If I confess to a crime, don't I deserve to be in jail? If I confess to a crime, regardless of if I wasn't supposed to be tried or prosecuted or whatever, okay, does it depend on the crime or something like that? Because my thing is, if I was accused of a crime and people were saying, yep, I did it, and nobody knew for sure, but then when you finally asked me, I said, yes, I did it. Don't I deserve to be in jail? Generally, under normal circumstances, right? Okay, because William H. Cosby sat in a courtroom and was asked point blank, did you drug women with the intent of having sex with them? My man said, yeah. And they asked him like two more questions. I would be paraphrasing, but basically two more questions where they were like, okay, did you did you put drugs in people's drink knowing that they were not aware that the drink you put in there and blah? Yeah. He said, yeah, to all of that. I drugged him. My whole steez was to drug him and get some booty. Why is that man on the streets now? Just a question. Simple question. Separate your emotions. I don't want to hear none of that, wow, Bill Cosby, they always want to keep a black man down. It ain't got jack to do with keeping a black man down. Black man said he drugged women and had sex. Ain't nobody keeping him down. I get it. He's worth $400 million and he's better served on the outside for us as a people than on the inside. But he admitted to it, y'all. Why are we having this conversation? There are people who have been traumatized, victimized, put whatever eyes you want to put on there by men in this world. And when those men are discovered, put on trial, and found guilty, they should be incarcerated. You don't have to take the booty, y'all. Fellas, you ain't got to take the booty. You ain't got to take it. Just have some game. And I'm pretty sure a cat like Bill Cosby had more than a little bit of game. That's the part I don't understand. How do this cat got the drug, folks? He's Bill Cosby. Back in the 60s, he was the man. Back in the 70s, he was the man. Fat Albert, hi. Uptown Saturday Night, Piece of the Action, Let's Do It Again. He was the man. Why did Bill need to drug women to get the booty? Where does that come from? Where is that? I don't even get that mentality, man. Where if you're a guy, okay, yes, I grew up on Bill Cosby too. We all grew up on Bill Cosby. I mean, yeah, Fat Albert, Cosby Show, all that. I mean, if it wasn't for Bill Cosby, we'd never have a different world. And you telling me different world didn't have impact, it didn't have meaning? I just got done watching a reunion, bro. And that, D, is the point. It was the norm. Just like I was telling people a while back, these folks that was crying and complaining about Pepe Le Pew and saying Pepe Le Pew, oh, he's rapey and oh, this, that, and the other, blah. Pepe Le Pew came out in 1947. That was the culture in 1947. Okay, let's retool Pepe for the 2010s or the 2020s so he don't seem as rapey. Not canceling. Okay, Bill Cosby is a product of the culture he grew up in his heyday, that he profited in. He's a product of that culture. We need to say, I get it, I understand you're a product of your culture, but that's your fault. But you know what? Ultimately, the man's out of jail now. Unless somebody gonna throw him back in, there's really no reason for me to sit here and be angry and beef. I mean, if y'all want to get on change.org and start to put Bill Cosby back in jail, you can. But I mean, to be quite honest, are we really in fear of being victimized by an 83-year-old date rapist? I mean, is that the problem? Is that the concern? I mean, he's out and he doesn't deserve to be out. By his own admission, not by anything I, you, me, or anybody else thinks. He's out because he's out now. On a technicality, whatever, he's out. Should he be out? Probably not. But he's out. Rather than say, why is Bill Cosby out? How are there steps that need to be taken to deal with a free Bill Cosby? Are there? I mean, you know, and it's not a new thing that our justice system is broken, that our justice system is flawed. We knew that before Bill Cosby got out. Okay. And at the same time, I don't want to say, yay, let's pump up the fact that Bill Cosby's out of jail. Bill Cosby's out of jail. Bill Cosby's out of, I'm going to address that in a second, D. Bill Cosby's out of jail because of a technicality, not because anybody wanted to see justice done and get that poor old man who's blind and dying out of jail. That wasn't the reason for getting him out. The reason for getting him out was kismet, a humbug, destiny, just a strange turn of events, and it's like, yay, he's out. What we're gonna do now? Because him being out, that ain't the argument. What we gonna do now that he's out? Bill Cosby is basically the only Hollywood celebrity the mainstream has tried to destroy. I see your Bill Cosby and I raise you a Michael Jackson, D. Steezel. Definitely tried to destroy that man. They tried to destroy that man after he died. So, yeah. R. Kelly sitting in jail now. Not gonna say he doesn't deserve to be in jail, because a lot of people, again, R. Kelly's one of them things where split right down the middle. But here's my question right here. Why do we run down our people? Why do we run down our celebrities? Why do we run down each other in general? You ever think about that? No thoughts. Okay. I gave you a few seconds, but I know you're gonna come back at me because it's a 7-second delay. But yeah, in closing, I'm gonna say this. You don't consider Michael? Oh, you talking about just actors specifically? I was thinking high profile individuals, period, whether they made a movie or not. And if we want to be Hollywood, technically, Michael Jackson and Prince have made movies. But I get where you're getting at, D. You talking about just us in general. Byron Allen? Okay, he been in the business a while, and they just thought, oh, it'd be a great idea to mess with him because he's trying to do things for Black people. I don't know. So what do y'all think, all in all? Sha'Carri, Loki, color swapping, Bill Cosby, are these things going on in our society that are a sign of our times? That, and this is just me, and y'all can take it how y'all want to take it. We, as people in the United States, we too damn sensitive about everything. And I get it. Some people have a reason to be sensitive. They've been through some stuff. They've dealt with some stuff. I know a lot of ladies that are upset about Bill Cosby being free because they have been victims of situations like that. And they see him as that archetype. I get that. Okay. But it is what it is, y'all. We move, live, and have our being in this world, and it's impossible to not be offended by something or someone, regardless of what their actions are. If their actions offended you directly, you need to address them directly. Write Bill Cosby a letter and tell him F you. I think you're a despicable human being, and whatever happens to you, you deserve whatever is what I'm getting at. If it's something that's in your head that's keeping you in a certain frame of mind where you ain't gonna be able to function, or it's messing with your peace or anything like that, you speak on that, or you need to deal with it, or you need to address it in some kind of way, shape, or form. I'm talking specifically to people who have been traumatized by situations like this. Have you been traumatized by the fact that Sha'Carri Richardson isn't going to be running in the individual sprint events? Are you traumatized by that? Why do we have these strong emotional responses to it? Is it because we feel like there's a conspiracy going on? Is it about the color of baby girl's skin? What is it? You know what I'm saying? Same with the color swap thing. Is it a visceral, deep down inside of you thing, or is it something outside that affects everybody else? That situation doesn't sit right with you. Color swapping. And this is and all of this I say to say, okay, our emotions drive what we say. But a thought should drive what we say, shouldn't they? I mean, I understand we're not going to go through life as 100% logical beings, but at the same time, we don't want to go through life as no mess of emotions. You know what I'm saying? Say what you need to say, and if action needs to be taken, take action. If you feel like what's going on ain't right, say something about it. Do something about it. Just get off the bench and get in the damn game is what I say, because people talk and people are going to continue to talk, you know, and as long as we yapping and running our mouths about things and saying how we feel, maybe your feelings might be a catalyst for somebody else. You might start a movement just by something that you say on one of those topics, on color swapping, on female sprinters, on Bill Cosby, hell, even on Loki. Open up your mouth and speak. And that's what I tell people all the time. Ain't nobody going to know what you feel until you tell them what you feel. And a lot of times people don't, like with the situation with Bill Cosby, a lot of stuff went unspoken. I don't know the mental component involved with that because I have never been sexually abused. I've never been sexually assaulted. So it would be, I'm not qualified to speak on it. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I'm not qualified to speak on it. I mean, I know what I know from a professional point of view, but I can tell you with all confidence sometimes what happens professionally or what's prescribed professionally to deal with situations ain't always what some people need, especially Black folks. We are needy. in certain instances and in certain situations. Okay. Like I said, in closing, I just want to say if there is something going on with you emotionally with regard to these particular topics, if it's got you feeling some way in your heart and you can't express it, you know, I'm not saying right now, you don't need to express it to me, but you need to express yourself. That's called decompression. And if we don't decompress the things that are putting pressure on us, you know what pressure does to steel pipes. So imagine what it's going to do to you and your being and your well-being and your peace and all of that. Don't dwell. Don't dwell. Don't dwell. All I'm asking. I love y'all. And I want to see y'all, and I want to continue to see y'all. So take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Okay. It's been an hour. And that is about all the time I could dedicate. I appreciate Overstand Mocha. I appreciate D Steezel really kicking in on this conversation, bruh. Appreciate it. Don't be no stranger. You got some insight. Love it. Miss Sherry, thank you for stopping in for for the time that you did stop in for. You are appreciated, sis. And to the rest of the folks that's out there and ain't saying nothing, I see y'all too, like Romper Room. Ooh, what? Romper Room? That was an old reference. Before anybody starts asking questions, I'm going to say that's it for Be Real with D-Real. Join me during the week on the Be Real with D-Real page. I put out 3 videos a week. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. There's a new video up on the page right now. Go check it out. And as always, I'll be back with some more edutainment because that's what I do. And until then, y'all be good to each other.